We're backstage, Van Andel Arena, Aaron Bruno, AWOL Nation. Album number 2.
Yeah.
Any huge, you hear about the sophomore slump. You hear about having to top this amazing album that you put out. Was there any pressure on you that you put on yourself with this second album comparatively?
Well, thanks for saying that. That the first one was.
It was a masterpiece. It was fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, of course. It was. I just didn't want to let anyone down that believed in me and so many of the different folks that helped spread the word and get the first record out there. Kind of are the first comers, if you will. The people who came along at the dirty, smaller shows. The more intimate, kind of underground feeling shows, and then it kind of blew open. So yeah, of course I had some pressure that I didn't want to let them down, but more importantly I didn't want to let myself down. So I just wanted to make a record that I would love as a music fan, because I really believe in the power of music, and I believe in that I have a great opportunity to hopefully help music a little bit better. I'd like to think that I contribute in a good way, so I wanted to make sure I continue down that path, I guess.
A lot of people, I don't know if they know or if they don't know, an AWOL Nation record is you in the studio. And especially, and that's what I'd heard with this one. No one had heard this at all.
Right.
And, it was your life for...
Yeah, it was...
Was it scary to finally have somebody else listen to it?
I was so happy with it that I felt confident. By the time it was done, I was just happy that it was over. And when I was younger, I would want to show people in my car, like, come here, man, I'm going to show you this whole record in my car at the most extreme volume ever, and just look in their face and watch their reaction. But somewhere along the way, I realized that you're never going to get the reaction you're looking for. So I this time I didn't really, I just kind of gave it out to certain friends and family, and didn't necessarily hope for any one kind of response at all. I just was very proud and confident of what I had done. It was the best I could do, at that point in time, and that's just how it is.
First time I think I saw you was a 500 cap room place. It was bananas. How different is it now when you go out on tour?
I don't remember what that show was exactly, but I mean the big difference is the audiences have gotten bigger, and at first it seemed like when we were playing these shows, a lot of people were had similar experiences maybe that I did growing up going to shows, with really energetic shows and people sweating and singing along and jumping around and moshing and crowd surfing and stage diving, all that kind of stuff. As it got bigger, it became harder and harder to implement those kinds of ideas at the shows. So that would be the biggest difference. But at the same time, you're reaching a bigger audience, so it's a blessing to have more ears and more people actually care about what you're doing.
What's better, the writing and the producing, or the performing?
It's tough to say. I mean, a couple weeks ago I would have said the writing and the producing, but I've been enjoying being back out on the road with these guys, and so it's hard to say. I probably would choose writing and producing because it's the discovery period. It's kind of like when you first fall in love, the honeymoon phase of a relationship with these songs. So it's so exciting. You have this information and this secret that no one else in the world knows about. Not even your friends, and it's so cool to have these secret weapons, sort of, and once it's out there, that's it, And then, you want, eventually, once those songs take a life of their own and become one of the more anthemic moments of the show, then that I guess that equals the excitement of the initial discovery. But in between is a little bit of a drag trying to get to that point. But I just like writing and recording so much,
Is there I mean, I know that, and I think we talked about this last time that we had an interview. These songs are hyper personal for you. I mean, these are like children. I mean,
Sure.
Is there a song on the new album that means more than any other song, or is it? Was there one where you just went, oh my gosh, this encapsulates exactly where I'm at right now in my life?
I would say maybe People Plastic. It's called Like People, Like Plastic, the song. Never would that be a single or anything like that, and that wasn't the point of it. But I think the lyrics and the way the song, the different peaks and valleys of the song, kind of really puts a stamp on where my mind was at the time. And I wrote that song early on before I had come up with the bulk of the songs that most people are hearing on the radio now. So that was a time when I didn't even know if there was a single on the record. It was just a song I loved, you know. But that was the whole way I went about the first record too. So yeah, People Plastic. That's the one that feels closest to my heart, I guess. And we don't always play it either because it sometimes just goes way over people's heads. Not to say that it's such a great song or so incredibly complicated or sophisticated or anything like that. It's just it's a pretty weird song, to say the least. And I don't know. I guess that's the one I like the most. That and Drinking Lightning. Those two, I would say.
You ever write a song and you go, "That's a hit"? And do you care?
Yeah, all of them.
And when I said, do you care? I mean, is that the goal or not really?
No, it's never the goal, but I like songs that are catchy, and I like songs that stay in your head, and you know, the energy and the excitement of feeling like you may have a song that could reach the masses is a pretty powerful feeling. So there's some sort of adrenaline that goes into that, but it's not the end all be all goal necessarily. And like I said before, you know, with the first record, I had no idea what was going to be a hit or even a single contender, and I was completely wrong on what I thought was going to be what. So, you know, with this record, I try to do my best to keep the same mentality, I guess.
Do you think Sale was going to be as big as it did?
No, of course not. I mean, who would have thought that? You know, I mean, it was like nothing had. There was no song like it, you know, at the time, and there have been a lot like it since. It clearly.
You smile when you say it. I mean, do you realize? I mean, people took that sound and used it, kind of.
Absolutely. Yeah, I still hear it today. There's a new song that just came out that I heard recently that is like almost the same thing. They just flipped two of the chords, but.
Did you off at all? I mean, or is it you know that flattery thing?
I guess it's more flattering. It's silliness, really. You know, when you hear that it's so close, and you could tell that someone sat down and thought, I'm going to do that, but just change one chord so it's not, so they can't be sued or something. But we're all influenced by different songs that we hear over the years. I'm sure if I were to really think about each song, I could maybe figure out, where the influences came from at some point. But I guess the point is when it all started, there was nothing like it on the radio, and now there is. So I've made a mark in pop culture and certainly in the alternative world, so for better or for worse.
You talked about influences, and were there a couple for you that you go, okay, this is what I want to sound like, or was it?
No, never not so much of just bits and pieces that I always loved. And over the years, being in all these different bands and writing thousands of songs that never even saw the light of day, I suppose I just felt confident at one point that there were no rules. It didn't have to be only a rock band. It didn't have to be only an electronic band. It didn't have to be anything at all. It just had to be honest and what I enjoy and what I was capable of doing. But it was never a conscious thought like I'm going to write an up-tempo song or a slower song. It's just these ideas that come out of me, I guess.
All right, thank you much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You bet, man. Take care.
Cool.